could give me just 1 minute and I'll explain the most important thing about the teachings of Islam, which is Tawheed.
Yeah, you were asking me a question.
Right.
I am going to ask you a question.
Right.
Can I be very honest with you? Why I think this Quran cannot be from God?
No, now you're trying to explain to me. But that's not why. At least,
okay.
I thought you said you were going to come. You wanted to ask me.
I'll ask you.
Okay.
So, you believe that Quran is from God,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
So, do you believe that it is okay for a husband to beat his wife?
It depends on the contents like in the Quran there is
Because Al-Nisa, because when you went there,
listen. But this is the thing. Let me say this again. My knowledge of Islam and the Quran is so limited.
Okay,
So
fine. You don't have to answer.
You get what I'm saying?
You
So
don't have
limited.
to answer that. I will go to another
to
question.
someone who have more knowledge.
In the Quran, it says that Muhammad is the best example to mankind, or at least for the Muslims.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Do you still believe that?
Absolutely. Of
Right?
course.
Let me ask you that. If you look at this is from Hadith, nothing to no offense to you,
No
because this is what this is my really personal question to you.
Right.
If you don't mind. As far as my knowledge, whatever I read,
You're talking about Aisha. Go ahead.
Aisha, I'm going to.
I know
When
where you was
Muhammad
going.
was 51 or 53, he married a 6-year-old child, that is Aisha.
We do.
Do you think, let me finish it, then I go. Do you think that is the best example to mankind?
Listen, we believe there are hadiths that are authentic and there are hadiths that are fabricated. So I believe this is one of hadiths that are fabricated because the Quran is the absolute truth. Now the hadith, we have to see, okay, which one is authentic, which one is not. The one I listened to, one of my teachers, he explained to me, and then I understand it. It's not just I blindly follow, but that hadith that you just mentioned, it contradicts what's in the Quran. Because how can a prophet marry a child? It's impossible. And not only that, when he died, she was like a scholar. A lot of hadiths are from her. So how can, when he died like a few years after he married her, not too long. So he will still be a child in terms of that hadith.
Yeah, she was 18 years old when he died.
So I don't take that hadith.
Okay.
That is a fabricated hadith.
So how do you know whether something is fabricated or not? Because you have, my understanding is correct, you have Sahih
Bukhari,
Sahih Hadith, right?
Yes.
Or Hassan.
There are hadiths in Bukhari that are fabricated.
So you think
most
that
Muslims they won't tell you this.
So you think that you cannot trust Sahih Hadith? Which scholars, scholars
not
say
all of them.
that it is Sahih?
Not all of them.
Why?
Because we believe there are people who are the enemies of Islam. You get what I'm saying? Who put those hadiths there.
Brother, you think that a non-Muslim who is an enemy of Islam
I'm talking about
can
back
put
in the day.
in Sahih Bukhari? Are you sure about that? Think about that. Do you think Muslims will allow an enemy to corrupt your Sahih Hadith? Then why
Jews,
it is called Sahih Bukhari?
In the beginning, the Jews, you see,
Do you have any evidence for that?
You see, this is the thing. Back to what I was saying. I don't have knowledge.
Okay, fine. That is
so
fine.
these topics,
that is fine.
It's good for you to speak with someone who has more knowledge. Most Muslims, they will tell you that Aisha, even though it says he married her at 9, that since it was 1400 years ago, basically a 9-year-old then is like a 15 or 18-year-old today. No, I'm not saying to agree. I'm just telling you what they will tell you. What they will say.
Forget about what they say. So let me say this.
But I want to, if you don't mind, you give me, even if it's 30 seconds, to tell you the most important teachings of Islam.
No, let me respond something about that. Because you said something.
I have to go pray.
Yeah. You said something that it is contradictory to that marrying a child is contradictory to the Quranic teaching. Actually, it is not. I will give you verses which shows that you can marry
Let's not go there.
prepubescent girls. You can.
No, no,
Children.
The Quran doesn't say anywhere in the Quran that the woman has to be pubescent. I dare you to find one verse in the Quran where it says you're not allowed to marry someone based on puberty. Get me one verse in the Quran which says the woman has to be pubescent. So if you're Quran alone, you're steered towards pedophilia, and a severe type of pedophilia, a wife abuse, a severe type of wife abuse.
The
So
Islamic
Quran
law
doesn't
listen.
contradict this
No, no. The
Muhammad
Islamic-
marrying Aisha. It doesn't. Quran doesn't contradict.
The Islamic law in terms of marriage, you are allowed to marry a woman, not like Western standards or when she's 18. After she reached puberty, she passed the
But
stage.
Quran doesn't teach that. It teaches the opposite. Because there is a verse.
You're not a scholar of the Quran.
No. I have read this personally. I don't have to be a scholar.
Okay, what verse you read that teacher?
That
What
verse. I will give you a verse. You can search for it. It says you can also divorce, something like this, that who have not menstruated yet. That means it assumes that the children is already married, then you can divorce that child also. That's what I can give you. I will send you that verse. I will send you that
Absolutely
verse.
not. But I'll go speak to someone who have more knowledge about that.